How to start stock trading as a beginner in 2026. We're going through some very interesting times. So today I'm going to go over step by step on how I would do it if I was starting all over again. And I'm going to be using some of my past stories and techniques to teach you how you can do it yourself as well. So here's my portfolio. It's done pretty well despite the volatility in the market. And my portfolio has actually allowed me to generate enough income per month to really fund a decent lifestyle and not to have to work. And now I make videos teaching others because this is my passion. This is what has led to my own personal freedom. So my personal story is I had a very big learning phase. Although I studied finance, it was not that easy. I got my first internship on Wall Street when I was just 19 years old. You can see a picture of me here. There's a lot of monitors in the back, and I was working next to option traders. And these option traders were trading basically day to day. They were looking at opening and closing positions. They were market makers, which means that they were looking to generate money from other people's volume. For example, a lot of people right now making trades, they think it's free. Like an app like Robinhood, it is not free. Robinhood sells your order flow. They sell your information to hedge funds such as Citadel and people working on Wall Street, like the guys I was working with. So they were finding opportunities to arbitrage, buy this, order flow, and really they were profiting from it. And what I really understood from working on Wall Street was how to manage risk. I would see really big positions. I would see traders making tons of money. I would also see traders taking on a lot of risk and losing money, and even traders getting fired. So that was my first experience on Wall Street. And my first job, my hourly pay was about $20 per hour. So I didn't have a big pay, and this was my very first experience. But this experience really shaped the way I thought about option trading and helped me get into option trading for what has now been well over, about 12 years now, over a decade. So during this process, I really started to understand, and you can see here that I started out with just $2,000. It was really all I had at the time. You can see here, there's traders in the background here. I'm so glad I got pictures of this. I'm so glad that in here I'm holding a $100 bill because these traders gave me $100 to get a silly haircut, even though the haircut looks pretty nice. But they threw $100 at me and I took a picture here. But you can see there is a trader on the right, and then in the middle, this was a hit risk manager. Okay, so risk manager is someone who looks at position sizing. And it's someone that actually mentored me, and I got a lot of information. I understood risk management from a very early age, and that's what's helped me really build a portfolio. And I think that if you're looking to learn stock trading and option trading in 2026, it's really about being careful, starting small, building up a portfolio, paying attention to the market, stock selection, and understanding which stocks are good and which stocks are just way too risky. So from there on, I studied in college, finance, analytics, and economics. I had some more work experience, but nothing crazy. I was studying and I didn't have any income for the most part. But from there on, I had worked at Goldman Sachs, gotten some experience there. I was in Los Angeles. I was working with really awesome financial advisors. I was a resource for multiple financial advisors that were going on meetings, and I was understanding portfolio allocation, what clients need, how the financial industry works. Got to see some really big names come into the office. Of course, can't mention which ones, but some of the biggest movie stars. And I really understood what people were looking for at a high net worth level. I myself was very low net worth, and although I had a pretty good job, I wasn't really getting paid an awful lot of money. I was only making about $75,000 or $72,000, and I really wasn't saving that much, but I was trying to invest as much as possible. I had restrictions because when you work in finance, you work at a bank, you can't really trade because you are deemed to have advantaged information. And to a degree, that is true. I had access to a lot of information. So I really took this as a learning experience to work on Wall Street, then to work at Goldman Sachs in Los Angeles. Then I further went on to Wall Street and had another experience at a hedge fund. And I did as much learning as possible, but I didn't really get rich. I didn't really make that much money in the beginning. I, first of all, didn't have that much capital to work with, but I learned as much as I could. I soaked this knowledge up like a sponge. And that's what you should be doing. You should be soaking up knowledge as a sponge. You should learn all the key areas what makes a successful trader. That's technical analysis, that's understanding charting, that's understanding fundamentals, that's understanding risk of a business, that's managing position sizing, right? I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not licensed. However, I have taken a decade to understand through trial and error, through educating myself, through studying PhD papers, doing the boring work, through watching Warren Buffett, through mentors, making tons of mistakes that have cost me thousands of dollars. But all of that ended up paying off because here, I'm at home and COVID started and it was a very tough time. COVID took a big hit on my portfolio, but all of a sudden I decided to take on smart risk, I'll call it. I looked at stocks such as Tesla. I saw big opportunities in them. I started to really take on a little bit more risk and use smart strategies. One of the smart strategies I used was a leap option. Other strategies I used were spreads. These strategies I teach in my courses that are free, by the way. I have a 6-hour free course here on YouTube, which I'll have in the description down below. And I teach a lot of this for free because this is what has changed my life. I went through so many painful mistakes, so much trial and error. But finally, during COVID, I took a portfolio from $100,000 to $700,000 personally. And I finally felt like I had achieved some level of financial freedom. This was pretty crazy because I was in my mid to late 20s at the time. And when I got this type of return, I was finally seeing a breakthrough from compounding capital, from the years of experience that honestly, you can learn yourself without taking years, but just watching the free course I mentioned, for example. But I was finally scaling, and I was again in New York City. I found myself in New York City and just really scaling. And from there, I was able to continue to grow my portfolio. I was taking on risk, but I was starting to diversify. I was starting to take on positions which ended up having really good growth. SoFi, Nvidia. I was very early on those stocks. And you can see Palantir I bought at IPO. So I've been talking about stocks that they have started to talk about now, but these are stocks that I've been very early on. And I started teaching options on YouTube as probably first or second. So I've been in this space for a very long time. And I've really enjoyed coaching because it has basically been a reflection of what I have done for myself as I have been investing, growing, learning, and I still make mistakes. Sometimes positions go down and maybe I panic a bit, but for the most part, I've been very solid because the decade of experience that I have has really taught me a lot about the stock market. So now I understand it from the psychological angle. And if I was starting again in 2026, it would really be around stock selection and long-term investing because I believe stock selection and long-term investing is what gives a trader an edge over the long term. Because if you look at the short term, it's really hard to predict the market. Nobody can do that on a consistent basis. So in a short term, the market can be very random and good stocks can get hammered. Good quality companies, SoFi and Robinhood, which I talk about on this channel, they have been hammered. But when you look at the business, if you really understand the business, then you will start to understand that the market is really irrational. It can be very irrational, especially with oil price shocks, certain consumer data, inflation. This can really upset the market. And craziest thing is something bad can come out and the market can go up. So the market doesn't always make sense. The market can be very confusing. So if you're a beginner and you're someone that wants to learn and profit, it's really about being detached and having a long-term strategy and not looking at any short-term fluctuations as something is wrong and you've made a mistake. You don't know if you've made a mistake month to month. You only know year to year if you are growing and building real wealth. That's a year-to-year process. You can't look day to day and my portfolio is up, my portfolio is down. That's not what stock trading really is, in my opinion. Some people day trade and they take all this risky stuff. You know, they flex flashy vehicles. I can flash many vehicles. I don't have any vehicles because that's not what I value in life. I value helping others. I value freedom. This is way more important to me. When I look at the reality, the biggest myth is that trading is just gambling. It can be gambling if you don't know what you're doing, but trading is really calculated risk. It's managing risk. It's looking at smart opportunities. It's having a view on the market that is researched and backed by real data and statistics, and then waiting for that data and statistics to come into fruition. That is what stock trading is. But trading can be gambling. Stock investing, option trading, it can all be gambling if you treat it that way. If you don't know what you're doing, of course it's gambling. But if you know what you're doing, it's not. Next thing is you must watch the screen 24/7. Now, I will say that I just had a call yesterday with a retiree in my coaching call, and he said that I look at the market every day for a couple hours. And I said, call him John. I said, John, you don't have to do that. You've been making really good money even during difficult times. But the truth is, it's not because you've been watching the market. It's because you have the right stocks in your portfolio. High quality companies, they go up, that don't have a lot of risk, that are not super volatile, yet they have enough volatility that you can make income when you sell options. And what I have been doing is I've been perfecting my strategy as much as possible by looking at high quality companies and then using options on top of stocks to generate income on them. That's what I've been teaching for about 6 years now. But the reality is patience and a defined setup matters a lot more than watching the market 24/7 and being glued to the screen. The truth is, I work with a lot of engineers, doctors, lawyers, business professionals who are busy, and they don't have time to look at the market 24/7. And that's a great thing because if you look at the market more, research shows that you do worse. In fact, there is a research, you can Google it, that high school teachers outperform financial professionals. That's right, an English teacher who knows nothing about finance, who invests in the S&P 500 and holds a diversified ETF will oftentimes beat a financial professional who is trying to day trade and trying to make something really fancy happen. Oftentimes it's the boring and consistent strategy such as an ETF that can beat the market, or match the market I should say, because most investors never end up beating the market. They don't even match the market. Most investors underperform. So that's why being glued to your screen is not useful. The other myth is quick fortunes. I don't believe in quick fortunes, although arguably I turned 100K into 700K fairly fast during COVID times, but I will say that I was prepared. Timing was important. Obviously there was a bull market, but I've prepared prepared properly. I've prepared, read lots of books, had lots of mentors, studied this, worked on Wall Street, worked at Goldman Sachs, endless things that I have done to prepare myself to capture that opportunity to lead to an earlier retirement for myself. So quick fortunes, I'm not sure. Can be possible in a bull market, but let's just focus on consistency, which is what I like. Slow, consistent growth over time, just way, way more important. Now, I want to talk about the key differences because a lot of people get confused. They get confused with day trading and swing trading and stock trading and option trading for that regard as well. For me, I put option trading as the same as stock trading. Very, very similar. An option is just a tool. They call it a derivative. A derivative means that it depends on something else. An option depends on a stock. So it's basically stock trading, but a little bit more nuanced. But I want to go over a little bit of key differences because if you're a beginner and you want to understand how to invest and step by step and learn this, then here's how it works. The time frame is very important. A lot of people, they want to day trade, and that's not what I do. I'm not interested in it. I personally believe it's a scam. I have not seen any day traders that are successful long term. On social media, I've seen some people that show something, but it's not a real account. I haven't seen a real account. You can fake accounts. I have a real account that I have showed for many, many years that I have grown personally myself. I show it all the time on my channel. Day trading, I have not seen a successful day trader long term, and there's just a lot of frauds out there. And I'm not looking down on it. If you want to try it, be my guest, try it. But day trading, not something I like, and day trading is very short term. Now, swing trading, you got to be careful here because swing trading, it can work, and swing trading can be done week to week. And I do weekly trading. I do options that are weekly. They are risky because it's very short term in nature, but swing trading can work, especially if you understand technical analysis. In fact, technical analysis can really help you spot trends and momentum. Momentum is one of the strongest factors within the stock market. Momentum is basically when a stock is running, and when a stock is running, swing trading is possible. Now, here we have in the last category, stock trading, which is long term. It could be weeks, months, or years. And typically when I'm looking at options, I'm doing weeks and months, sometimes even longer. A longer term option is something like a leap option can be 1 year out. Okay, so that is the time frame. Now, in terms of screen time, day trading is obviously very high. You're like looking at the screen, you're just trying to make a bunch of moves all the time. Not good. Swing trading is medium, and then stock trading / option trading is low. It's low time investment unless you overdo it. Now, the stress is very high for day trading. It's like you feast or famine day to day. Very difficult. Swing trading is medium, and then stock trading and option trading can be low. Of course, options can be incredibly risky if you're buying options and you're trying to make quick, fast bets. You're just trying to overdo it. It can be gambling. It can be very, very risky, right? So it just depends on how you do it, right? It depends how you treat options. Do you treat it as an income vehicle like I do, or do you treat it more as a gambling? You can treat it very similar to stocks. In fact, when I am selling options, my goal is actually to reduce risk. In hedge funds, the word hedge is basically to protect, and a hedge fund came into fruition back in the day because they were looking to hedge risk. And the main way that hedge funds hedged risk was by buying put options, meaning when a stock falls, they were able to get out of that stock because their put option functioned as an insurance. They got out of that stock for whatever price that they wanted via a put option. So when you buy a put option, it's very similar to buying insurance. So options can be very similar to buying insurance and protecting yourself. They can also be very similar to gambling, or they can be used for income generation, which is primarily what I teach on this channel. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated, and I have so much more helpful content on my channel, especially my free courses that will teach you all about option trading. Next, I wanted to talk about trading models, so a market thesis. So here you will see that my main strategy and how I perform and how I do my own research starts off with a market thesis. So I look for strong companies, really good macro trends. So for example, AI is a really nice macro trend, a field that is growing. And for example, oil is very volatile, and it is probably not a trend that I would be personally really invested in. So I start with that. I start with what's working in the economy, what's not working, what do I see as very high potential and a good opportunity. Then I look for structural shifts. So which companies are going under tension, which companies are benefiting from certain trends, and what structural changes are happening within the macroeconomy and how that is going to impact a specific company on a microeconomic scale. Then I look for a trade. A specific trade, and from there I am picking a specific strategy. So I either look to just establish a long-term position, whether that's just buying shares and just holding those shares, or whether I look to be more opportunistic and take on a bit more risk and to make a more leveraged play via a call option or a leap option. That is going to be usually more longer term because a longer term option gives me more time for my thesis to play out. Or I'll be looking for more shorter term things like a swing trade, or I may also be looking for more income generation information such as something like the wheel strategy. I have a video on the wheel strategy. I have many videos. The wheel strategy, to summarize briefly, is when I am selling a put option. That put option is essentially functioning as a way for me to enter the stock and for me to buy shares of that company. If I get a sign, that is the risk when you're selling a put option. And from there, I will look to generate income via selling covered call options. And that is how I basically generate income on a position that I got signed on. Then I also look at my risk levels. So I want to make sure that I have proper position sizing per trade. So every trade that I make, I'm making sure that it's not too much of my portfolio. And if the stock goes down, that I have a proper exit plan. From there, I execute. Sometimes I have a stop loss. Most of the times I don't. That's because the way I trade options, I typically like to lean in to lower risk trades. And the way I trade options is pretty much staying away from the gambling territory and more so collecting premium. And when I collect premium, that is a lot lower risk, and I don't need to use stop losses as much because my options kind of are stop losses in a way. From there, I review and I adapt. I have live trading calls Mondays and Wednesdays. I review my positions. I see which positions need to be adjusted, which positions are going well, which positions I can potentially double down on, which positions I may want to cut. And from there, I am looking to scale. So scaling really consists of consistent execution over time, sticking to a plan. If a stock goes down, not giving up on that stock, keeping that long-term perspective in place, rules that you follow without exception, not getting afraid of market crashes, not getting afraid of pullbacks, because that's going to happen. And panicking is only going to just destroy long-term value. Drawdowns, when they happen, looking to hedge, looking to potentially buy options to protect my downside. That's what I'm doing to scale, is basically trying to lose less money and make more money. That's the name of the game. Emotional control, very, very important. Trying to keep a positive mindset. That's crucial. Journaling and reviewing trades. Oftentimes I do that live. I do that live with my members and I show them technical analysis. I show them the fundamentals of a business, and then I go over the trades that I have and then I adjust those trades if needed. So that is my step-by-step plan. If I was a beginner, how I would think about the market, how I would build wealth, where I would start, which is really a portfolio. It can be a portfolio as small as $2,000, which is what I started with. Or ideally, you have a bit more money. If you have more money, then that's great because you can make more trades. The more trades that you make, you learn more, and then you can more diversify your portfolio. More diversification means lower overall risk. My preference is having 10 to 15 positions and then managing those positions simply by looking at them just 2 times per week. During my live coaching sessions, for example, I look at my positions for about 30 minutes. Continue to stay up to date with stock market, macroeconomics, and how those macroeconomics may impact my positions, and really just focusing on scaling and building wealth. If you enjoyed this video and you are a beginner, then one of the best things that you can do is learn more about option trading. And for that specifically, I have a 6-hour free course here on YouTube, absolutely for free, that you can check out right here on the screen right now.